'Twas the podcast before Christmas. 'Twas the podcast before Christmas, and all through the set, Noah Morrow was yapping, and fuck the Mets. The pint glass is full, placed on a coaster with care, because all you DPFers soon will be here. Johnny, Mike, and Rob getting ready in the pen, going over their notes, just waiting for when. We have Dugan in his hoodie and Chris in his Bills cap. With bated breath, you all wait for the opening rap. When out on the sidewalk, there arose such a ruckus. Chris sprang from his bar stool saying, "Not now, fuck this." Opening the garage door, he thought, "Don't throw out my back. For with a vintage Don Money bat, some heads he will crack." Chris thought, are my bloodshot alcoholic eyes starting to fail? For he saw the 68 Mercury M100 pickup pulling a trailer. It had a mid-aged driver in Wranglers ostrich boots on his feet, and his elderly neighbor Otto asleep in the passenger seat. The driver was ranting on a flip phone to Tippy. Chris knew it was Philly Rob ambling up his driveway in an intoxicated jiffy. He was going on and on about the Chronicles of Topper, but Chris was just regretting that last IPA. It was a bit too hoppy. Then in the green haze, out of the vintage Roadrunner trailer they came. Topper mumbled, then shouted, and called him by name. "Now Slapnuts, now Meat Tits, oh Dumbass and Nick. It's Lego Head and Stubby, Gabagool, boy she's thick." With a trail of empty bottles reeking of Bud Light and Malort, all wanting entry into the hallowed DPF fort. Stubby all glittery and Meat Tits all bold. Lego Head with hairspray and a lighter he holds. Gabagool eating ice cream with nary a spoon. 2 buttons, he sauntered, the neighborhood ladies did swoon. Oh Dumbass broke the wrong way, got all in a scramble, and Slapnuts headed for the bell. After all, Angel. The smell of tobacco and alcohol was prevalent. Looking for heads, their demeanor was malevolent. Each one was quite angry. The scene was quite tense, as the neighbor, who should remain nameless, gaped over a fence. Topper let out a great roar, though it was barely audible. He stammered about ex-woba and war. Theirs was not all that hard. He questioned DPF allegiances and said his boys were all laudable. And he demanded more juice, if no beer was flowing. Chris told him to relax and to grab a stool and sit. "Except Gabagool," he said. "Get the fuck out, you smell like shit." They settled themselves down, and the calm settled over the din. They looked all around, with Topper eyeing the gin. Chris put down the bat and slowly walked the garage floor. He stopped next to the tap and offered a pour. They turned to the fridge and opened the door. Their jaws dropped in awe at the blinding aura of gold. They saw a multitude of beers that were all tasty and cold. Not one of them could move. They could only marvel and stare until Topper broke the silence. "You got any Labatt's in there?" They all made their choice, mostly one beer at a time. They asked about seconds, and Chris told them, "That's fine." And they laughed at the guy. They chatted and told jokes and became DPF fans. And they laughed at the guy on the yard standard can. Then they went for the liquor, and they really enjoyed the hidden stills. Folks, that's called product placement, because we need to pay the bills. While sipping the beer, Slapnuts queried, "Is this heaven?" "No, it's Philly. Now shut the fuck up, because we go on live at 7. The Topper heard his charges like an amiable old jailer and got in his pickup while the rest piled into that trailer. Thinking that night had turned out quite well, Topper had no regrets. Leaning out the window, he shouted, "Merry Christmas to all, and fuck the fucking Mets!"
Nice.
Very good, Santa. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Well, welcome to season 2, episode 40, a Merry DPF episode. This is our last episode of season 2, last episode of the year. We'll see you guys back after New Year's. Let's pay some bills, like Santa said. Remember, if you're looking for home security, internet, any kind of audio or visual cameras around your house, you want to go to pensivtechnology.com today and talk to Chris. Chris hooked up the garage with lightning fast Wi-Fi, the actual guest Wi-Fi. I've said this before, but it's better than my entire house. So check out Pensive Technology today. Next one up is Yards. So we all drink Yards while we're on this podcast. I have to put a koozie on mine because the cold beer hurts my fingers. We drink this beer not because of the sponsorship, but because we fell in love with it. The High Dive is one of my brother-in-law's favorites now. The 19.2 ounce cans that you get at the stadium are available in a 12 pack for $16 at the brewery right now while supplies last. We bought probably half of their supply when we did our beer exchange. So get down there quick if you want to see it happen. Drink a beer that's made in Philly for Philly. Don't go down to CBP or to see the Flyers now or the Eagles and be drinking some beer from outside of Philly. That's fucked up. And finally, Hidden Stills. I can't believe there's some of this left, but we really love the rye. We love the David E. Series. This Penn State series. They also have a Pittsburgh series for our fans out west. And the cool thing about being in Philly or in Pennsylvania is that they can deliver right to your house. So if you go on their website, hiddenstillspirits.com, or on their Facebook page, they have a shop now button. They can send it whatever you want to order right to your house. They have ready to drink cocktails. We really like the bourbon and ginger, the bourbon and peach iced tea. What's the other one, Chris? Is the bourbon and ginger the one?
Bourbon and lemonade. I think there's a lemonade one.
Bourbon and lemonade. Yeah. So all those available on their website. We'll do one more. Guys, help me out with this. SeatGeek.com. So if you guys go to SeatGeek and enter the code DrunkPhilsFan, no S at the end, all caps, you'll get $20 off of your first order. All right, those are all the bills we got to pay. I think it's over to you, Dugan.
Yeah, we'll jump right into it, fellas. Can you hear me all right? I was having some technical difficulties earlier, getting a little frustrated.
It looks like you're good.
I had to call my college-age daughter to come down and fix everything for me, so I'm in good shape now. So Mike mentioned our beer exchange that we had at Yards. I just wanted to kind of close the loop on that. So we had that on December 7th. What an awesome day. I think everyone who was in attendance had a good time. Appreciate everybody showing up. Yeah, look at all the Christmas beers that Mike's already drank back there. I think everybody had fun. The staff at Yards was fantastic. I don't think I went more than a second without my beer being refilled, and they took very good care of us. On top of that, this was a fun event. You can get 24 different beers, Christmas and winter style beers, but it was also a charity arm to that. So as part of the charity arm, we were able to collect just about 50 toys for Toys for Tots, which were donated last week. And we raised over $500 for the colorectal cancer in honor of Mike and his fight that he's going through right now. So all in all, I thought it was a great day. I also want to mention today we got a great donation of $100 from John Paul Valinsky. So we're going to send him out some DPF swag to thank him for his donation. So it was a great event, and we already have it scheduled for next year. So
it should be in already.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. So I want to thank everybody that came out. I want to thank Yards. I want to thank everybody that donated. It was a great day.
I just want to piggyback just 1 second. Dana, who manages the whole tap room, phenomenal job setting up our area and really taking care of us. And Emily and Sam were our two servers. Sam actually saved my life that day. I was feeling really tired, and she found me some peach tea that was warm, and like I got an extra hour out of that. So I really wanted to shout out those three. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, it was a great day. All right, so now let's get into some baseball. Hey, Chris,
What's up, guys?
how we doing? All right, we're just about to roll into our first topic of the night here. So, one thing I want to throw out, and I hate to say it, but here we are, December 18th or whatever the date is, and the Phillies really haven't done anything to shake up their starting nine. So it looks like they might be running it back again. If they're running back, who are the players that we think need to step up? Guys that were in the lineup the last couple of years that maybe had a couple down years. So I have three that I wanted to mention. I'd be interested to see how you guys feel about it and anybody you think we should add to it. My first is Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott really had a down year last year. Just looking at his numbers, he dropped, his batting average dropped from 280 to 245. His K rate was up. His walks were up. But I think Stott really needs to be a guy that the Phillies need to depend on. I mean, he's a guy we talked about being a 300 hitter, a guy that could challenge for a batting title, and he was very, very disappointing last year. I think he's a guy that should hit towards the top of the lineup if he improves his contact and on-base percentage and gets back to what the player that we think he can be. And I think he's a real key because of his speed. He could be a guy that could steal bases. He had a nice season last year with stolen bases. Looks like he had 32 stolen bases last year. So that's nice. But we can maybe get 40, get 50 if he's in the top of the lineup and getting on base a few more times. The next guy is Trey Turner.
Chris, can I stop you for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
So, it's one of those situations where Stott, like he said, he was hurt.
Yeah.
After the season.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this again? The Phillies consistently do this.
Yeah, they should have. If he was hurt, sit him down, get him healthy, get him back to the player that he. I appreciate guys that gut through it. You want those gamers in your lineup, but if it's to the point where you're hurting the team, you need to take a seat. And I would have liked to have seen that, but
Because I think back to Chase Utley, like he was fine. And then March comes along and he's a disaster, right?
Yeah.
His leg hurts, his knee hurts. It was hurt all year. At what point should, if he's hurt, should Sosa have been playing?
I think so. I think Stott should have got some time, maybe a little, IL action and rest up, heal up. I mean, they did it with Harper. Turner had the hamstring. So they all, go through those nagging injuries, and you have to, maybe take a seat for a couple of weeks and come back and be the player you're capable of playing, rather than being limited, which I think he definitely was last year. His swing just never looked right to me. Just never looked like he was getting full extension when he was hitting. So hopefully he's a guy that's a candidate for a really big bounce back year, because I think the Phillies are going to need it.
Yeah.
Trey Turner, he pretty much hit his average last year. His career average is about around 295. He hit 295. But I just think there's something off about Trey Turner. Like, I don't think he's got that clutch gene that I remember him having against the Phillies for all those years when he played for the Nationals and the Dodgers. Like, he just seems to struggle with runners in the scoring position, and he's very up and down. He's a very streaky hitter, which I didn't think he was when he came here. I thought he was more of a consistent guy, and I think that's what the Phillies need out of him. They need more consistency. I know that he was banged up last year with the hamstring, which probably limited his his base stealing. When he came back off of that, they really didn't run him much at all. But I think that's a key component to his game that he needs to get back to utilizing and putting us in a better position to score runs. And I think overall, he just needs to be a guy that has a better bat to ball skills, cut down on the strikeouts, put the ball in play, make some productive outs, especially with runners in scoring position. Drive-in runs with a ground ball, drive-in runs with a fly ball. That's what I want to see from him because I think he can be that type of hitter. And I think he was that type of hitter. And he got away from it a little bit, especially last year. I thought he was too pull happy, too much trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I'd like to see him cut his swing down a little and really get back to being more of a contact guy. And the third guy is probably going to surprise you, who I'm going to say, but he's a guy that I think has a ton of potential. Mostly right now, it's for his defense, Johan Rojas. I think if this kid could figure it out offensively, he doesn't need to be a superstar. He doesn't need to be a stud. He needs to be a competent major league hitter that has the skills to bunt, move runners up. He really needs to start being more disciplined at the plate. I think his walk rate last year was only like 4%. A guy like that with that kind of speed needs to get on base more, and that comes with getting walks and putting the ball in play more than he did. I think he has tremendous potential. I think he'll always be a back end of the lineup guy. But if you have a guy in the back end of your lineup that can hit 265, 270, and steal you 40 bases, I take that every day of the week. Every year, sign me up. I think I think he has that capability. He just has to get more disciplined at the plate. So those are my three guys that I think would be key players to run it back Phillies making another run at this thing.
Chris, great points. Trey, how much of him not being good in the field is he taking it back? He's like, I just fucked up in the field and I want to swing for the fences, as opposed to doing what we need him to do. Hit line drives, kind of contact the ball. Is he another, is the left side of the infield a fucking mental problem?
You would hope not. You would hope not in Turner's case, just because he's been around so long. He's a 10-year pro who's had, he's been an all-star, he's been an MVP candidate, he's been at won batting titles. So you would hope that he wasn't affected by his defense. But I'm sure because, this is Philly. You make an error in Philly, you hear it, you made an error, and you know what everyone's saying about you, every time you bobble a ball. So it might be in the back of his mind, and that might be eating him up a little bit, when he gets to the plate.
And I'm honestly angry about the ovation. I don't think that's Philly. I don't think we should do that. I think if someone plays like shit, we boo him. None of this let's get behind Trey and give him a standing ovation. Fuck that.
Yeah. Hence the mental left-hand side of our infield.
Right.
Yeah. I got two quickies. I got Alec Bohm on the other side of Trey Turner. That guy had a great first half. Do not invite him to the home run derby. And he needs to put a whole season together, both offensively and defensively. In my opinion, he needs to step it up. Number two is Orion Kirkering. I'm taking your boy, John. Flashes of brilliance, man. Even for an extended period there in 16 straight games, he didn't give up a run or something like that. But he needs to be more consistent throughout the entire season and save some in the tank for the postseason, in my opinion. So those are my two.
I agree with that. I got a couple quick ones. JT all across the board has to be better. Contract year too. So whether they're going to extend them for another year or two, that's left to be said. But contract year nonetheless has to step up at the plate. Getting a little rusty with the defense. He's not the best. He's solid, but he's not that guy anymore. Behind the plate, but definitely offensively. And I was going to say Turner too, but which is obvious. But Castellanos too. I got no problem with Castellanos' defense, but you look at his numbers, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad of a year. But the average, 254 average, too much swinging at junk, too much, not what should I say? Not enough patience at the plate. Yeah, not enough patience at the plate. Just swinging at everything that comes across the plate. He's got to chill the hell out and do a better job. Because there's sometimes when he was up at the plate when we needed him to be clutch, and he did not come through. So I think he has to step it up.
So in summation, who needs to step it up next year? Everyone except for Zach Wheeler. The entire team.
Right. Pretty much.
Yep.
Tough to live in Philly, but
it is what it is, man.
Yep. All right.
So on the heels of that discussion, I have the honor to do the Dumbass of the Week. So we already did the SeatGeek bell ringing, so we won't do it this time. But this Dumbass comes out of the state of Vermont, believe it or not. So last Thursday, a woman was walking her dog near her home in Highgate, Vermont, when she and the dog were hit by a guy we'll call Reagan. Reagan fled the scene, but was tracked down by police quickly about 15 miles away at his residence. Reagan admitted to running the woman and the dog over. He faces charges of gross negligent operation of a vehicle that caused death and leaving the scene of an accident that caused death. He's being held on $250,000 bond. And you may be asking, that's kind of a pedestrian dumbass, but the reason why I chose this is, and why he's the dumbass of the week, like, think about it for a second. The cops caught him in like a half hour at his house that was 15 miles away. So how did that happen? Well, when he hit the woman and the dog, his bumper fell off, and attached to his bumper was his license plate. So when they ran the license plate, they just went right to his house. And that is why this guy is the dumbass of the week.
That's funny. Wow.
And this was Vermont, Mike?
Vermont, yep.
Yeah. Wow. Like, you're finding ones outside of Florida. It's amazing. Very
Florida
surprised.
and Philly, you guys told me you stay away from for a bit, so I did.
Yeah. So, Spotify has their year in review. You kind of see, like, what you listened to, what you did. Facebook used to do it. They don't do it anymore. So I'm going to do a DPF year in review. High level, like, some of these numbers just are astounding to me. We've had 30 million people on our page. 30 million likes, loves, shares, 30 million. We have gained 20,000 follows in this past year. This is just in the past year. 20,000. So we're approaching 60,000. So, that's kind of important. Now, kind of going a little bit backwards, looking through what we did. We went, Renee and I went down to Clearwater in Florida, and if there was a bar, we went in it. If there was a drink, we drank it. You saw it. It's honest to God. And it was so awesome. Like, I don't know how many DPF people we met down there. It was amazing and overwhelming to like know that we've connected with so many people. As we kind of like move forward through the year, we did like, a game in March. We did a game in May where we had 500 people, 500 DPF fans come out just to hang out with us, just to be there. It's amazing. And at that, we hooked up with Battle Brothers Foundation, and I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but it was a great donation. There's a plaque hanging in the DPF garage because of what we donated there. Overwhelming. That was like an event where all of us, I think, to each one of us on here, we were each overwhelmed. 500 people, everyone just wanting to talk, hang out. I think, people became friends. I think there was godfathers being, made. There was wives. There was a couple people that got engaged there. It's overwhelming when you kind of think of the community that DPF has had. And then as you kind of move farther, there was like events at the garage and things like that. So, the closer friends coming here, being able to watch games, sad, mad, good, bad, all of those things. But we connected with Yards last year. So like now we're teaming up with Yards. And then as time moved on, we teamed up with Hidden Stills. So if there's one thing that I love other than my wife and kids and baseball, it's booze. And I'm getting beers and I'm getting bourbon, ready to drink cocktails. That was overwhelming and amazing. And they've been so kind to us. And hopefully we've been kind to them. And I felt we have. So that's a testament to us on the podcast, but also all of our fans. As you move further down, like we had this event that Chris was talking about earlier, and we're donating, tons of toys to Toys for Tots, 50 plus toys, and we're donating to colorectal cancer. And, what does DPF mean to me? Well, it's obviously baseball, right? And it's obviously beer, but like the ability to have a platform to be able to donate and have a voice for things that's important. Mike, and Brian Buckley with veterans being, not treated properly. Like, to me, that is like one of the most important things. And then today, it's odd. Out of the blue, we get these messages. And Dawn is one of our biggest fans. And she sends this message that's like, it's overwhelming. Chris, I don't know if you saw it.
I did see it. Yeah, I did.
It's overwhelming. He's like, you make my day. I love DPF. I love what you're doing. I love that you love baseball. She's talking about, I recently lost my dad, and it's like the last, this is the first Christmas. And it's like, yeah, like, she gets that. She knows that. It's like personal. DPF isn't just like Phillies fans. It's personal to us. And for her to connect in that way, and reach out and do that, I was overwhelmed. So it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
But guys, I want to hear what like your like moments were, or like where you felt 2024 was like it hit you.
Yeah, I mean,
First
I
of
think
all, 1 second. First of all,
go, Mike. Yep.
Steve Mold, booze sponsorship. Who would have thought? I would have thought he would have gotten us a couple more, since he's been to every brewery and distillery in Pennsylvania.
He might be at one now.
He could be.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, a couple things, Chris. I think you didn't even mention. We did some stuff for SBCA, for Paws, Betch Triples with the Fandemic crew. We've made donations to them.
Yep.
So I think this year there was a lot of charitable stuff that DPF was able to take part in, which was, like you said, that's, to be able to do that. And we can't do that without the support of our followers on the page and of the podcast. The one thing to me that really stands out was that May 18th DPF night at Citizens Bank Park. Like, that was just, I mean, it was raining on and off the whole day, but we still had a packed parking lot of people wearing DPF shirts, running around, handing out stickers and magnets and whatever else we could give them. And just the fact that they just wanted to take a second to, say hello or snap a picture with us or anything like that. Like, it was just to have that many people at one time. Like, we've been down tailgates before, and 10, 15, 20 people may walk by, but 500 at one time, all there because we said, hey, let's go have a party. And they came out in droves, and they supported us in that event. And, we were able to make a really nice contribution to Battle Brothers that day. So that was really one of the days that just stands out in to me. It was just awesome. It was like kind of the culmination of everything we talked about through all these years, like to be able to have something like that at a game against the fucking Mets, and the Phillies fucking came back and won. It was like the perfect ending to the perfect day,
Yep.
Yeah. That was a special day. And especially at the end of that, all of us, like hundreds of us fans, even just us group of DPFers coming down from our section going, fuck the Mets in unison. That was just like beautiful, people taking pictures and camera of it. That was the biggie, of course, but yeah, that was an overwhelming day. I barely saw you. I mean, I saw you guys in passing, but everybody was just, grabbing each of us and wanting to talk. Hey, I'm from here. We had that chick come from London. Like, that was wild. Was that was that day, right?
Yeah.
That was it. Yep.
We had people come from Virginia, like other states, just to hang out with us. The one guy, like, just became a DPFer that was talking to my dad. He's like, oh, I just found out about this through my friends. I figured, screw it. Well, why not come up? And he just drove right up. Like, that's insane. That's beautifully insane, I should say.
Yeah, and Steve makes this point. DPF makes new friends. Get involved. These guys are great and genuine people. If they say "fuck the Mets" to you, it means you're accepted.
Yeah, pretty much. Fuck the Mets is our go Birds. Pretty much. It's like you walk down the street, like see DPF on, like fuck the Mets. It's just a beautiful thing, the camaraderie and all, and just how we've been able to give to some of these charities and all. And I was proud to be in the one we forgot too is the Polar Plunge. I was very happy to do that this earlier in the year. Not sure if I could do it this year, but I would like to still raise funds for it due to health reasons. We'll get that later, but I would like to do it if I'm allowed to. That was special. All the we went to the trivia night down with Victory. We met Bo and all them. That was cool. Just every cause.
Oh, and all them. Who was the all them?
Oh, well, just
Taryn and Natalie.
Taryn and Natalie. Yeah, it was just it was just a great time. Any little event we could get to talk to fellow our friends in the Fandemic crew or other fans or DPF. It was just really special.
Yeah, before we move on, Mike says DPF isn't just beer and baseball. It's a family, good people, great conversations, and pure entertainment. And talking about the entertainment, I'm trying to find a fucking Santa hat that fits me. I got a fucking big Polish head. My fucking blood's getting cut off. I might have to take this off because I'm looking at myself on the camera. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like fucking face red. I know I'm drinking 10%ers, but it's like you couldn't fit a fucking toothpick in here. Jesus Christ.
Really quick, I just think three things, like the DPF Cowboy, introducing him to Buck and listening to those guys talk about military experience. I thought that was awesome on the 18th of May. And then he came down, he drove all the way from, I don't even know where, like 2 hours to come to the beer exchange. The DPF Cowboy is the man. And then two different places. I was with Natalie, my middle daughter, on going to a Luke Combs concert, and some guy in short overalls grabs me and says, "Hey, you're a DPF," because I had a shirt on. "I need to take a picture with you." That is so humbling to me, that somebody would recognize that and want to take a picture. And it happened again at the Iron Pigs, and my whole family was there. And my brother was like, "That dude recognized you." So, great fans, great followers, and just really humbling experience throughout the year, being able to connect with communities, multiple communities that you guys have all heard about from the other guys. But really, really good year. Looking forward to 25.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So just to I know I said earlier about the Phillies running it back, but the Phillies did make a move, guys. The Phillies fucking signed a guy. They made one move. So I wanted to kind of get everybody's reaction to this signing of Jordan Romano, closer from the Tampa Bay Blue Jays or Toronto Blue Jays. Tampa Bay, what the hell? Yeah. Toronto Blue Jays. What the hell was I thinking? So a little bit about him. He'll be 32 in April. The Phillies signed into a 1-year, $8.5 million deal. He had arthroscopic surgery on his elbow in July, but Dombrowski said he's already back throwing in the mid-90s. The scouting report on him is Romano thrives despite his inexperience, throwing plenty of strikes with a fastball that sits 92 to 93, but can ramp up to 95, 96 with arm side life. Romano has proven adept at pitching up and down with his heater, elevating for strikeouts, but using his size to pitch downhill to get ground balls early in the count. So he's had an interesting career. He has the highest WAR of any relief pitcher during the 3-year span of 2021 through 2023. And he made the All-Star game twice in those years. He's had years with saves of 23, 36, and 36. Last year was obviously a down year. He had an elbow issue that kind of derailed his season. He only made 14 appearances Last year only pitched about 13 innings to a 6+ ERA. But the 3 prior years, his ERA was, where's it at? 2.14, 2.11, 2.90 with all those saves. To me, it's not this signing is not a Juan Soto or a World Series winning move, but I think it's a smart move for the Phillies. It's a 1-year deal. It's one of those low risk, high reward. If this guy can bounce back and be the pitcher that he was for that 3-year stretch, I mean, it's only 1 year removed from being that good, and he can bounce back. I think, he could really be a piece. He could kind of be the Hoffman that this year.
So, Chris, is he the replacement to Hoffman, and are you okay with that?
I think he could be, but I think the reason for that I'm saying that he is based on Dombrowski's comments about Kerkering. I think they believe Kerkering is ready to step up and take a bigger role in the back end of that bullpen. So I think he kind of is. I don't think they want to give Hoffman a deal. He's probably going to want multiple years for, $8, $9, $10 million a year. I think,
or be a starter.
Yeah, that also came up. Yeah. I wouldn't be happy if Romano was a replacement. I want Hoffman back. I want Hoffman back. I would like to have both of them, actually. Who knows? We got to slim down. What's his name? Alvarado looks slim down, so maybe he has a bounce back year. If Kerkering's ready to step up, maybe Romano's all they need to really tighten up that with Strahm and who was the other lefty they got at the trade deadline last year? He'll be in the mix.
From the Twins.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
But I like this signing. It's not the big splash that everybody wants the Phillies to make, and hopefully it's not the only move that Dombrowski makes this offseason. But I like it on the surface, and I think it could be one that paid off. We saw like a deal like this kind of pay off last year with Spencer Turnbull until he got hurt again. He was kind of a low risk, high reward type guy. And he came in and pitched really well when he was available. I'm hoping it's not the only move the Phillies make. I hope they get another piece or two for the bullpen along with a couple other things. But I like this move on the surface. I do like it.
I think you're right. With the 1-year deal, it's the bridge to get Kerkering to the closer role.
Yep.
That's what I thought as soon as they signed him. So I'm okay with that, especially if he bounces back, like you said, after his cleanup of his elbow. And, we'll see if it pays off. I, too, want Hoffman back, but I think he's going to go where they're going to give him a starting role. Yeah. I just have that feeling. I don't know why.
I mean, Hoffman shit the bed, too, right? Like, he's not been good in the playoffs.
2 years in a row.
For 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Yeah. And I kind of blame that on some of the other struggles that guys have had. Like last year, Hoffman and Strahm had to pitch a lot of innings because Alvarado and Kerkering weren't reliable all the time. I mean, Alvarado wasn't reliable at all. You could count. Soto stunk early in the season. Sir Anthony stunk. Yeah. So Hoffman and Strahm had to throw a lot in because you remember Strahm went through that little stretch there too where he was getting hit around. I think Strahm had it in the middle of the season. Hoffman had it at the end, and it got them both. And I think it's just because they couldn't manage their innings. They needed them to pitch, in games where they couldn't trust Alvarado and Soto and Dominguez. And hopefully, next year with a guy like Romano, if they do bring Hoffman back, they can kind of manage his innings better and keep him fresher, come playoff times. But we'll see.
Yeah, I like the deal. He had a down year last year, of course, but the 2 years before he had 36 saves in both years and ERA in the twos. So he pitched pretty good the 2 previous years. So I think it was just a down year. If he stays healthy, like Mike said, he's the bridge to Kerkering hopefully next year. And
would you guys do Estevez on a 1 year if they don't bring back Hoffman?
Nah.
Nope.
And I don't know what this stuff is. What is this stuff? What is this stuff with offering Hoffman and other people the starter money? It's crazy. Like it's like it's like Lugo. I call it Lugo maniatis. It's like they turned Seth Lugo from a reliever into a productive starter last year, and then Mania was a starter, went to a back, like a lesser role, then came back. I think they're expecting all these guys to like revert to starters, and everybody's gonna have a 6-man or something. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's because of the dilution of the league with all the teams, and then they want to do expansion. Yeah. It's going to be even less. You're going to have some guys starting pitching, or you're going to do a bullpen game like every 5th game or something like that. So
yeah. I see Steve Mold's comment too, and I was going to throw this guy's name out there. Tanner Scott's a no-brainer to me for the Phillies.
Yeah,
he's a no-brainer. Yeah.
And he's a Yankee, right, Chris? Like, he's a future Yankee. He's not
probably.
Yeah.
The Yankees are loading up, man. They lost the World Series.
Well, no, the Yankees have
Juan Soto. Yeah, but there you go. You got a lefty righty. There you go, Sig.
Mike's loving that.
There you go, Mike.
I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I want to say like one other thing is like this. I'm going to out myself. Steve's favorite thing of the year was when they gave me shit for being weak and not sitting in the sun. So one of these games, I wasn't sitting in the sun. But you know what? I'm a smart dude. I was down with Chris's wife, beautiful. My wife, beautiful. A bunch of other ladies, also beautiful. In the air conditioning, drinking drinks. They were feeding me grapes, fanning me with big leaves, and I'm watching the game. Yous are fucking idiots being out there in the sun getting cooked. You can take a picture of any empty seat. I was getting treated like a king.
There you go. Speaking of being treated like a king, we've had an ongoing discussion this year about Christmas gifts. Gifts kind of stuff, we'll call it, that's wrapped under a tree versus experiences, right? Maybe wrapped under a tree still, but stuff versus experience. So I reached out to the fandom this morning. I was supposed to do it yesterday, so my apologies, but I chemo brained it a little bit. But I got 9 responses, and I want to hear from the comments. So really what we're looking for here is there's a certain number of us that really like to grab some presents and open them up and get some stuff on Christmas Day. And then there's some of us on this podcast that, we want to go to like Clearwater, like Chris was talking about earlier, or a concert, or maybe, a Phillies package, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to read a few of these. I'm going to probably read all 9 of them, but because these guys took time to answer my call. Nancy says, put the damn groceries under my tree. There you go. Harry said, we've always had presents, especially with younger ones. As they're getting older, we decided no more unnecessary things. The big thing is his son gets opening day and the Sunday plan for them. I thought that was awesome. And their daughter gets some small things for them. And then we got Ben, gift cards. Everyone else seems to hate him, but I love him. So he's a gift card guy. Andy says, personally, I don't like receiving gifts. I prefer giving gifts. So I'm that way as well. I like also to give compliments and positive feedback. And I love to get feedback, but I don't like to get accolades back. It makes me not anxious, but uncomfortable. Heather says, love tickets for things to do together, shows, ball games, musicals, tours, all that kind of stuff. All the best stories and memories come from that. Can't agree more. Kelly says, I like experiences. As a Michigan fan, the best one I got was a trip to the Big House to see him play Notre Dame. Like, what's better than that, right? Fran says, this year, my husband and I are putting money towards a trip to the Dominican Republic. That's awesome. Johnny just wants a gal who chugs wine and headbutts gingerbread houses.
We got that girl for you.
We found her. But in all seriousness, as long as there's thought and love in any gifts, I'm lucky to receive them. I think that's true too. And then the cowboy was the first one to respond, so I'm going to give his last. I always prefer money or gift cards so I can get what I want without any awkwardness of pretending you like the gift. But tickets for ball games and concerts are definitely a plus. So you see, there's like a back and forth here. So who wants to step up and tell them your opinion? Fire
Yeah,
away.
so Mike, it's experiences with me. And I think there's an awkwardness upon, like, I'm talking about family stuff when, like, the kids have stuff under the tree and, the husband and wife don't have a lot. So there's a certain awkwardness there, right? And I think Renee gets pissed at me because she's like, you won't tell me what you want. And I'm like, I'm a fucking adult. I'm 50 years old. I'm going to buy whatever the fuck I want. Why do we need to ask you for something? I don't want that. I want to be able to, like, experience something that maybe I wouldn't have, or maybe I didn't know about. As far as, like, it's a concert, it's a game that you're going to, it's a beer I haven't drank. I don't know. There's probably some $200 beer out there. I'll fucking drink it. Renee, I want that. Whatever that is.
I know what that is, Renee. Give me a call.
Yeah, I'll drink it tonight. Some random Wednesday. But I'm big on experiences because what I firmly believe is that in 20 years, you're not going to say, wow, this is like, I remember that sweater you gave me and I'm still wearing it. But you might say, like, yeah, I remember this concert, this trip, this something we did together that was meaningful. So I think that that's important. And I think it's not only important to, like, spouses, but, like, I think you can do this with your kids. Like, give them socks and all the bullshit they need, during the regular time of year, but just, like, we're going to go and do this. We're going to go to Disney. We're going to go to something. I don't know.
Agreed. You and I are aligned. You know that.
Yeah, I'm more of a gift giver than a gift receiver. I enjoy giving a gift and having people see the expression and their happiness when they get a gift. With my wife, I usually buy her decorations. She loves Christmas. She loves the ornaments and the decorations. So it's usually something I give her, like, around Thanksgiving so that she can display it once Christmas times come. So we don't really usually do much for each other on Christmas Day, opening a gift. Even this year, we decided, let's not do gifts to anything. We're both off that whole week. Let's do lunch. Let's go to dinner. Let's just go do something together during the Christmas, time off that we have, and just spend some time. Go grab a meal, go grab lunch, go out to Peddler's Village or wherever, just to have a day, just the two of us.
Not Peddler's Village, though, because fuck that place.
Yeah. Well, I'm throwing out things that she might ask me to do.
Trolley Barn, Quakertown.
There you go. But yeah, so we're not really exchanging gifts this year, and I'm with you, Chris. If I want it, I'll just get it.
Yeah.
I mean, why am I gonna wait for Christmas I got holes in my underwear, I'll go buy new underwear.
Right.
I did ask for underwear now.
Well, I
did.
It,
and I asked for all dark colors. Boys, if you know, you know. I was like, I don't want fucking white ones or any. I just want, like, fucking black and brown ones.
Black and
There
blue.
you go.
Dark
Yeah.
blue.
Dark blue. Yeah, navy. Get me the navies.
Yep.
Fine.
I had some problems with some navy blue ones too, so, like, I'm not trusting those. The black, just get me 12 blacks.
It's all them 10%ers, man. They're leaky.
I don't. Yeah.
So Steve's on our train with experiences. He has, for those of you who don't know, Steve's been to all the ballparks,
Yeah.
like every single major league ballpark, and that was his journey for a number of years. So, Johnny,
Yeah, you read part of mine, but yeah, I believe I tend to believe experiences are better than gifts. Like, and like just Dukin said, during the year, like what I usually buy, I've been stocking up on DPF shit all year. So that outside of that, like, Philly stuff, Eagle stuff, whatever, like I just go and buy it. And what I do for Christmas is what I do for Christmas is I self-gift myself just one thing. And if anybody else wants to get me something, that's fine. But I would prefer, like, the one year my stepmom and Papa John got us a cruise for Christmas. and we went
That's
to
what we're talking
Bermuda, and we went to Bermuda that summer, and that was just an unbelievable trip. So I can understand where people want more experiences than an actual physical gift.
Cool. You're up, Johnny.
Sorry, I was closing my screen here. So I'm going to go into the top 10 list of things I want and don't want for Christmas as a Phillies fan. 5 or don't want, 5 or want. I'm going to run through them real fast. And I'm going to go from 5 to 1. 5. For don't want, I need more silence. If the front office could stop being so quiet, let something leak through the room once in a while. Like, I don't want to hear sources say, or they could be looking at, or could be interested. I want to hear, are in talks or are finalizing. You know what I mean? I want to hear that you're actually trying to get these guys. I don't want to hear like months later, oh, well, we did try to do this, but like it's too late now. I don't want to hear that horseshit. So, number 4, any more analysts? A report came out recently that Cole Hamels will be joining NBC Sports Philly part-time. I don't know if that's in the studio or calling games. Steve, our buddy Steve, said he might be calling games. I don't want to hear that Hollywood permit. Like, just he said, "Dude."
Twice.
That's funny. I don't want to hear that voice said, yeah, you know. 3 balls is bad, but 4 is a party. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear like his voice on broadcast. We already got Ruben Lego head. We bust Rube's balls. He's knowledgeable, but he's just got to calm down and take a breath once in a while. We don't need any extra cooks in the kitchen. It's going to be like Moira and Stairs and that back in the day, and it was hard. Number 3, I don't want any visas for Rangers family. Contract year. I don't need his back hurting, the kids jumping on his back. No fatty meals. So leave them home. You learned your lesson last year. Number 2, I don't want to wait out the market for the subpar people or reclamation projects or for depth people. You know what I mean? I want to actually go in, and try to get some names in here this offseason. And number 1, I don't want is for Garrett Stubbs to spend 1 minute above AAA this year. May Marchand stay healthy. Now, these are my do ones for Christmas. I want to be more aggressive with the Japanese players at post. I mean, we were aggressive last year with Yamamoto, but he went to LA with the the Shohei thing and familiarity. But I think we got to dip our feet better, deeper into them waters. Number 4. I want the fucking trophy back too, John. So you might want to tell Dave you need at least 3 of the 4 of left field, center field, bullpen, and maybe a back end starter, or trade, free agency, do something. And that goes with my other point too from the other list. Number 3, Phillies merch prices need to come the hell down. I don't want to hear that we're having a sale for the holidays and here's your discount code. You're still robbing us. You're still getting us somehow. Just bring the prices down. A fitted hat should not cost $40. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. Number 2, everyone from the starting lineup to the bench need to work on their hitting this offseason. Nobody's too big or too small or too important for the extra work. I don't care if it's Harper. I don't care if it's Joe Schmo on the bench. What we saw this past year, no one's afraid of our lineup, and it was atrocious. Like, stop swinging at everything, cut moves, be more patient at the plate, do some more extra work in a damn off season. Number 1, it's a little sentimental and a little comedic at the end there, but I just want to not have to go through another season without that special someone to enjoy games with. I know Santa can't bring that in the box, but maybe the man upstairs can. But I'd like to introduce an initiative. Jingles for John. So, if you're interested, hit me up in the DMs. Slide into your little sleigh. You know what I mean? So that's all I got. What about you guys?
I can go
John.
I can go fast. Ready? I don't want any more washed up relievers. Any discussion about how this lineup is great? They just need to perform. I don't want any food gimmicks on the broadcast. I don't want too much
Right.
Kermit and Rube. Kermit is what Carrie calls Cole Hamels because it sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
And I don't want any more construction on 76 because it takes me forever to get there. To begin. Here's what I do want. Another legit starter, i.e. what Sig said earlier. A legit backup catcher, a right-handed hitting outfielder, some kind of other move than Romano to celebrate this offseason, and press card or press credentials for DPF somewhere in the Philly organization.
There you go.
There you go.
My five things I don't want: don't run it back, don't run it back, don't run it back, don't run it back, don't run it back.
Right.
Those are the 5 things I don't want. The 5 things I do want: another starter, another reliever or 2, a contact hitting center fielder, a power hitting right-hander, and a power hitting bat off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those all resonate. John, like you have to put yourself out there, man. Like you have to, like, I'm gonna grant your wishes here. You have to like put your face on the page. Just be like, I'm John. I'd like to go out and we're gonna get a macaroni's grill tonight.
That's all.
That's
right around
it.
the corner.
Exactly. It's a nice Italian place. You can go to the outside, the P Squared. You can have a couple cocktails. I think that's a good thing. I want that for you as well. What I don't want, I'm tired of calling these young guys young. Alec Bohm's fucking 28 or 29. Enough with this wet banded bullshit. They're like the fucking babies. Grow the fuck up. Sack up, man up, and stop being the word I can't say. Stop being the word I can't say. Papa John, I know you're listening. Put in that word in the.
You say it.
Yeah, you say it because I'm not allowed. And the other thing is, we've done this Christmas podcast for 2 years now. We're going on our 3rd season, and I hate that I keep having balls on my face. It's not a good look. I shouldn't do it. No one likes that. Most people don't like that. But I don't like it. So I'm sorry if you have to look at that. I've tried it, do you hang left? Do you hang right? It's not good. Neither of them are good. But ultimately, like when I think of other things, like the Eagles play the Cowboys twice. Like, okay, the Eagles could go 2-17 now or 16, and they beat the Cowboys twice. The Mets got us. The Mets got us. Whatever we did against them, they got us. They knocked us the fuck out. And the way that we were talking shit against the Braves, they did to us. So we got to do something back to them. I need that next year. Like, that's one thing that I need.
I guess that's a B word.
Papa John is doing Spanish putang. He knows.
He AI'd it.
Yeah.
He knows. So, talking about Bohm, it is insane to me that the Phillies overvalued this guy so much. When you're talking about Alec Bohm, like it's the Phantom of the Opera. It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. The first half of the season, this dude's awesome. But honestly, like, he's our 4-hitter and he's hitting 15 home runs. I looked through all of the major league teams. There is not a single major league team where their 4-hitter hit less than 20 home runs. Why the fuck is he our 4-hitter?
Because
Can
our
anyone?
4-hitter hits first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Our 4-hitter had 15 home runs. He had more tantrums than home runs. And they're like, oh, let's float him out there for Mason Miller. What? Like, the A's don't even have a fucking city. And they're like, yeah, nah, we're good on that. I think that Alec Bohm's behavior is like, I've done this before. I'm going to admit these things. Like, oh, I don't know how to do the wash. I'll do the wash a few times and I fuck it up. And, so my wife has to do it. You don't know how to do it. There's wrinkles in it. Alec Bohm's are like, I'm going to be an asshole and be a fucking baby. And they're going to keep me here. I don't think he likes it here. And I don't think that was the intention. Because I think Alec Bohm would do well in what? Colorado, Kansas City, wherever that alarm was from. But I don't feel that the Phillies are motivated to do anything. I think that I'm predicting there's going to be no more trades, no more nothing till the end of the spring training. Nothing. And guys, I want to hear what you think about that.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Chris, just because it was like, well, we made it to the World Series, so we're good enough to run it back. Oh,
Yep.
well, we made it to the National League Championship Series. We're good enough to win it back. Well, now we just won the NL East. We're good enough to run it back.
Yep.
And I think that's like the mindset. Like, we're still good. We're a good team. But everyone around you is getting better. And you're not. You're staying the same. Unless these guys are going to have a major transformation and totally change their approach at the plate and start becoming put the bat to ball guys, cut down on their strikeouts, it's going to be the same bullshit. They'll put up a ton of runs in the regular season. They'll knock the shit out of the ball in the regular season, and the Phillies are, they won 95 games again. They're great. And then they'll get in the playoffs when pitching gets tough, and they'll fall back to chasing shit, falling behind in counts, getting blown away with fastballs, and not having an approach just to score runs. They're always trying to hit the 8-run home run that doesn't exist, instead of just getting the one run that's there for them. Yeah. And it's a flaw in this lineup. And if it doesn't change, or they don't bring in players that can change it and at least give the lineup some balance, it's going to be the same shit. They're going to win a shit ton of games in the regular season. They're going to win. They're good. The Phillies are fucking good. They got a great pitching starting rotation, a decent enough bullpen, and they got enough guys that are going to hit during the regular season. They're not built to win the playoffs the way that this team is currently constructed. And we're seeing it every year. Every year.
I'd like to bring up Steve's comment. I'd like to think that this is Renee in another room saying, I think Chris is right and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Renee. I appreciate that. So we've been having like this, quote fight in the house. Like Renee's like, Santa wraps the gifts. And I'm like, Santa didn't wrap the fucking gifts when I was a kid. It was under the fucking tree. And, so I was like, she's beautiful. I fucking wrap the gifts like a dope. Eventually I was like, I'm putting these fucking things in gift bags. I don't care what she says. I care what she says. Renee, I care what you say. But I was like,
just not about this.
Reusable gift bags. Right. I was like, I care about the earth. Wink, wink. And
you do a lot of recycling. You do a lot of recycling.
A lot of recycling.
You do.
These fucking dudes, like, they have like fucking 10 fucking blue bins out there.
Yeah, your commitment to a cleaner earth is incomparable.
So she eventually was like, Chris, I'm seeing your side of things. I was like, wow, this is an amazing point. I never thought I'd hear that. So,
Sig.
But thanks, Steve. Sig definitely Santa wraps.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Santa Sig.
So I'll start wrapping it up. We're a little bit late, and you might see an Eagles hat and a Drunk Flyers fans t-shirt. We'll get to those segments later. We ran a little bit long today, but while we're wallowing in the sorrow of the Phillies' demise in the playoffs, I've been really following the Flyers a lot. My brother-in-law is with us for a while, and he is a huge Flyers fan and a really, really good and a really, really knowledgeable hockey fan. So, and also with 10 wins in a row, the Eagles have given a spark to this city that they needed after the Phillies shit the bed. And if you're 45 years old and you haven't gotten a colonoscopy, schedule it for after the holidays. I get it. It's the holidays now. But schedule it. It's not that bad of a prep anymore. They've changed it from before, and it could save your life because it saved mine. So appreciate that. Whoever's up next, go.
Go, Johnny. Look at that fucking hat. I love it.
There you go. It says
Looks
nice
like-
on the back, but we'll leave it back there. Just real quick, I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. I hope that maybe we might get an all-season move between now and the new year. Who knows? I also want to thank, real quick, long story short, I want to thank all you guys, Chris, Dugan, Mike, Sig, it's out there, Butcha, all the well wishes, and from our closer DPF fam. Had a little health scare last weekend. From Friday into Saturday, I had what in my chest, what I thought was maybe gas or something else. I had really bad pain, and when I went to, and I had it at the event, the Christmas event we had, and little did I know until I went to the hospital right after the event that I had a heart attack. So that was very scary. Scary to hear when you're 46 years old. So please do take care of yourself. Seriously. It woke me up, and I got to change up the lifestyle a little bit, but it is what it is. I plan on being around for a little while longer. So I'm just taking it easy, doing what the docs say until I can get back to the regular routine and get in some better shape and, rock out. So I do appreciate you guys, your support, checking in on me every day. And our DPFers out there that, that follow me on my personal page and reached out. I do appreciate that. And real quick, check out the Adelaide Giants this weekend versus the Sydney Blue Sox. Giants are 2.5 games back, so maybe they can make some ground. Dugan?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been an incredible year on the page. Like Chris said, 20,000 new followers or something like that, approaching 60,000. All the donations that we've been able to make this year are because of you. And I'm going to hit you up again. We are selling koozies and stickers, $20. That includes shipping. And every dollar will be donated to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance in Mike's honor. So please DM us if you're interested. I'll get them right out in the mail to you. We have about 25 or 30 of these to get rid of. So if you want one, DM us, $20. You'll get this and a sticker or a magnet, and I'll even throw in a DPF bracelet for you for $20. So it's all going to a good cause for a good guy that we all love. So please think about it. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yep, and to finally wrap it up. So for the past couple nights, the DPF wife and I have been watching like A Christmas Carol. And, I've been watching like Scrooge and the Albert Finney one and George C. Scott, different ones. And one of the things stuck out to me. It's like poor Tiny Tim at the end, And, as my sign off today, and like I wanted to talk about Ghost of Christmas Past, of 2022, and the Ghost of Christmas Present, where we are now, and the Ghost of Christmas Future, which is like, if we don't do anything, how can we change? Are we expecting the guys to change? I feel like we need to change personnel a little bit, whether it's the players or Kevin Long, as I've seen a bunch of the comments mentioned. Kevin Long. But I would say, God bless us, everyone, except for Mets fans, and fuck you. So
Love you
good
too,
night.
Scott. That's the DPF Cowboy.
Love you, Cowboy.
Love you guys.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Fuck the Mets.
Fuck the Mets
Fuck the
and
Mets.
Joe Carter.
Yep.